Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Higurashi. And Mr. 250 is really awful at getting audio settings to stay properly. So we're gonna have to re-record the first part of this again, because I didn't realize until about halfway through that my sound wasn't recording. I briefly explain it later, but it's just, this is a laptop, and sometimes I'll unplug everything so I can take it into the living room and do some editing or, browse the web or whatever. And then I come back and I plug everything back in, but recording software says, oh, hey, since you don't have any audio things plugged in, we assume that you want to record no sound when you plug everything back in. Maybe that's like a weird Windows limitation, but I wish it would, reinstate whatever my last recording settings were. Anyway, enough complaining. Let's go ahead and get started. The day of the Watanagashi Festival. June 20th, 1982, 1:40 p.m. What was I doing today? Nothing in particular. Nothing at all. I just wanted to play hooky. I woke up in the afternoon. I ate instant food for lunch while watching boring TV programs. I had a light headache, so I laid down on the sofa. I wouldn't wake up again if I went to sleep. Whatever. I decided to sleep. I'd already told Sis that Satoshi-kun had asked her to look after Satoko. I didn't have to do anything myself. I fell asleep, though my head was aching a little bit. That would be all I'd have to deal with. June 20th, 1982, 5:02 p.m. The aunt believed that all the villagers frowned upon her because her brother-in-law and his wife were pro-dam activists. He surely experienced some fallout during the time of the dispute. But people had stopped looking coldly upon her, even though she assumed otherwise. She was paranoid, believing all the villagers hated her, and so she decided to hate them back. Her attitude, of course, begot hatred from the villagers, and the situation became exactly the way she thought it was from the start. What came first? Their poor relationship with the neighbors? Or her husband's affair? She didn't know herself. Her husband claimed that he got a lover because he was fed up with her attitude. She in turn claimed that their relationship with the neighbors went sour because her husband had damaged their reputation. Only Satoshi was aware that both happened at almost the same time. Their quarrels had become a daily routine now. When the husband came home late, the wife would shout at him at the entrance. Satoshi wondered why they didn't get a divorce, their marriage being as rotten as it was. But he secretly knew the reason for that too. It was the fortune his parents had left. His aunt had hidden their bank book and stamp and never allowed her husband access to them. So her husband would search the house for them. She'd find out he stole some money from her purse. This would cause yet another fight. Satoshi had never been aware that his parents had that much money when they were alive. After their death, however, one of his relatives told him. He was informed that his parents had left a large sum of money in some bank account. Satoshi couldn't understand why they had that kind of money, because his family had been, as far as he knew, poor. It was because of the dam project. His parents probably got the money in return for their cooperation with the government. They had strived to get more villagers on their side, provided information to them and whatnot. The money was probably compensation for their efforts. His aunt and uncle never had any intention to adopt them until they heard about the money. After someone from some financial institution revealed its existence, they appeared to adopt Satoko and Satoshi. The couple would fight every day. Eventually, Satoshi's uncle started spending more time at his mistress's home. He realized that he had no reason to return to his own home, because he'd just end up in a fight with his wife if he did. When he stopped coming home, Satoshi felt relieved. Neither their uncle nor their aunt treated the two siblings very well. Satoshi's aunt wouldn't have to vent her frustration upon them. The reason the couple fought was their corrupted relationship, so if they separated there wouldn't be any more fights. Satoshi had thought that at first, but even after they'd separated, his aunt still had a short temper. Another woman had stolen her husband. The villagers must have been talking behind her back. It was mortifyingly embarrassing. Since she lost an opponent to fight, Satoshi's aunt directed her hatred towards the siblings. Satoshi had been observing her. He learned when she would get upset and how to avoid her attention. He managed to get by without upsetting her by turning a keen eye to her behavior and avoiding conflicts. But Satoko couldn't do that. She hated her aunt and didn't even try to hide it. Satoshi told her to to behave in her aunt's presence, but her eyes were always filled with hatred. Satoshi strived to reduce the conflict between them as much as possible. He stepped in to mend their relationship. It was a heavy burden for him, though, because he was still just a boy. He bore so much. He covered for his little sister by lying and maneuvering. He tried to maintain a tangible sense of peace, but he couldn't do that forever. The relationship between Satoko and her aunt had already spiraled out of control. Satoshi found something in the trash. It probably wasn't a legitimate place for trash disposal. If it was, sanitation workers would come and pick it up. He passed by the street all the time, so he noticed when there were new things dumped there. He'd found a plain-looking desk, of the kind likely to be seen in offices. Somebody must have dumped it within the past few days. His aunt liked to bring usable trash home. She had Satoshi help bring in a chest just a few days ago. If he told her about the desk, she'd want it. His aunt hated to find bugs and garbage in the drawers, so she'd always open them to check before carrying the thing home. Satoshi opened all the drawers, all of which were empty. After that, he turned around and walked for about 5 steps. He was standing in a knee-high bush. There he laid something he'd been carrying all the time until today. It'd be very hard to find unless you specifically knew it was there to begin with. Right, so at this point in the video I had remarked that I realized that this was Satoshi doing all the same things Keiichi did, which were, of course, all the same things that Satoshi did. Where he's setting up a trap for her because he knows the aunt's going to want to look at this desk. And so she'll be distracted, and then he can grab what is presumably a bat from this bush, and then, smash her face in or whatever. I'm not going to go on too long, but this is the point I mentioned it, which I think I was correct on. Looking satisfied, Satoshi looked around for some landmark to remember the place by. June 20th, 1982, 5:51 p.m.
Hey, 親父! 今年も来たね。また根こそぎかっさらってくから覚悟しときなよ。
いや園崎のお嬢ちゃんは今年も元気がいいな。そっちの子は新顔かい？
この子はね、竜宮レナ。こう見えてても結構やるよ。よろ
しくお願いしますね。
おう、こっちこそよろしくな。今年もいろいろ景品を持ってきたんだぜ。もちろん真剣勝負だ。根こそぎ持ってけるもんなら持ってけってんだ。
レナは可愛いものには目がないのですよ。
ああ、あのぬいぐるみとそっちのぬいぐるみはレナの好みだね。
ダメだよ。まだ準備中だよ。おい。
レナ、ダメ。まだ準備中だってさ。ちゃんと回転したら根こそぎさらってやりな。
はう、もうダメだよ。レナのものなんだよ。お持ち帰り。
Rena lost her marbles over the stuffed animal. Everybody laughed. Everyone except Satoko. She was standing by herself, some distance from the crowd. Her eyes looked dull.
なんなんですの、リカ。
Rika walked up to Satoko, smiling ear to ear in an effort to cheer her up.
今日は何も考えなくていいのですよ。いっぱい楽しく過ごしましょうなのです。
Satoko looked down. Even if she got to have fun today, her circumstances at home wouldn't change.
さとこ、意地悪なおばさんは、今日はお祭りにはそんなことは分かってますわ。なら、いっぱい笑って、いっぱい楽しくなるのですよ。みぱー。みぱー。みぱー。
Yeepa!
あいにくですけど、そういう気分になれませんの。申し訳ございませんけど、放っておいてくださいませ。どうしてさとこは笑いませんですか？
Satoko sulkily glimpsed at Rika. She gave her a look, as though she wanted to say that Rika should know the reason. Even if she could have fun today, nothing would change between her and her evil aunt. No matter how fun the festival was, once she went home, her aunt would be there. The aunt would find something wrong with Satoko, get mad and shout at her so loudly that the neighbors would hear. How can she have fun, even just for today, while knowing all of that? Satoko didn't say that out loud, but her eyes betrayed her emotions to Rika.
ではさとこの辛いのが今日でおしまいになるなら、さとこは笑ってくれますですか？
Right, and at this point, I actually remembered there's a comment I'd been wanting to answer. The comment was saying, just talking a bit more about Rika and Burnt Castell from Uineko. And it's been hinted at, and more or less flat out said that she's the same character. Just asking about kind of my thoughts on that. And so, it seems like she's the same character, but the difference is that Burnt Castell's been around for, a seemingly endless amount of time. So she's probably gotten bored, and she probably went through a lot during this whole event here. So that would kind of explain her lifelessness and boredom, I would say. And there might also be, an additional circumstance that happens. Like, I'm sure, in the time before last where we were actually still with Keiichi and Rika was dead, I'm sure that probably didn't do good things for her, but while taking a stab at the dark, I would say it has something to do with Oyashiro-sama. Maybe she is Oyashiro-sama, or Oyashiro-sama has bestowed upon her some kind of power, perhaps? I'm not sure. But that's my thought on that for right now. She thought that Rika might do something to help. But soon after, she realized that Rika was just trying to comfort her. Could her suffering end today? Because of Rika. How? Satoko knew that there was really nothing Rika could do. And so, after just one moment of freedom, Satoko fell into depression again.
リカ、くだらない気休めは聞きたくないですわ。さとこ。
Rika's voice was clearer than Satoko had ever heard before.
もう決まっていることなので。
Oh! Suspicious. June 20th, 1982, 8:11 p.m. Satoshi snuck out of the window after supper. He heard the distant ruckus of the festival. The festival would end at 9 p.m. After the Watanagashi ceremony, there was going to be a raffle drawing. So there were two types of people in Hinamizawa. The people who would go home for dinner and the ones who would stay until the raffle was over. Either relaxing at home or still at the festival. There were only those two patterns. On top of that, there weren't many neighbors in the vicinity of Satoshi's house. As a result, he found nobody on the streets. On that night, the small village seemed especially desolate. Satoshi knew it was going to be like this. But he would keep worrying until he saw it for himself. He was barefooted, but started running without hesitation. He felt as though he'd become a wild animal, running on his bare feet. He'd got the impression that he could run faster than usual. Which this part starts to sound a lot like Keiichi, doesn't it? Not only his running ability, his vision, his hearing, and his sense of smell. All his senses were keener, including his sixth sense. He could almost sense the presence of people in the distance, if only when crouching like an animal. It felt strange, as though he had stepped into another world. He'd been feeling tense and anxious until today, battling with his own fear. But now he felt as though he had metamorphosized into a different person. June 20th, 1982, 8:37 p.m. Oh yeah, something else I should mention. Alright, calm down there, festival stall man. Because I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to edit the video, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that I think the point where I came back was I had to answer a phone call, so I had to break. That was part of the reason why I noticed the lack of audio. But also, for I would say a good portion, like 60 or 70% of this episode, there was like a fly somewhere in my room terrorizing me. I could hear him like buzzing around, and then when I'd go to look for him, I couldn't find him. So I think I briefly mentioned that when I come back from the break. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not actually crazy, possibly. There's just a fly in my room. Although he seems to have left, and I don't know where he's at. He could return. Anyway, Festival Stallman, continue.
お楽しみ抽選会の説明をこれより始めますのでどうぞ皆さん櫓の周りにお集まりくださいな
Have you small town folks never heard of a raffle before? The festival had reached its climax. The raffle was going to start. Both of the women who were dancing and those who were waiting for the raffle gathered around the altar. This was the first time they'd held a raffle. The planning committee decided to hold one from this year onward to attract more people to the festival. At first, the prizes were things the committee members had donated, but Oryu, not appreciating how pathetic they looked, had thrown them away. Oryu took the initiative and bought a brand new TV, a washing machine, a cooling fan, and other such things for the raffle. The committee wanted to keep it small initially, but it turned out big, thanks to her. Oryu was upset because the committee members weren't enthusiastic enough, in her opinion. Some of the members thought it would be very difficult to prepare prizes of equal value the following year, so this might be the very first and last raffle.
お嬢さんのおかげで本当なすんばらしい商品になったね。だいぶかかったんじゃないの？運営費で立て替えするよ。
すったらうな程度で建て替えなんてアホらしい。銭金の問題じゃないね。たく。
まあまあそう言わないで。お嬢さんのおかげでできた抽選会なんだから。
こんな私一人でどうにかすりゃええんちゅうわけとちゃいねや。パホクサ。
The mayor, Kimiyashi, was having a tough time pacifying Oryu. All of a sudden, one of the committee members burst into the tent in a rush. He looked upset, so Kimiyashi assumed somebody probably got hurt in an accident.
どうしたの牧野さん？
Accident in the biggest air quotes possible.
そんなに息を弾ませたら心臓が破れちゃうよ。
Kimiyoshi made a joke to calm him down. Makino, however, still looked tense. He whispered something to Kimiyoshi. Even without hearing the exchange between Makino and Kimiyoshi, it was plain as day there was bad news.
お嬢さん、悪い話なんだけどいいかい？
Kimiyoshi, accompanied by Makino, moved to Oryu's side and spoke in a very serious tone. Kimiyoshi whispered to her the exact same words Makino told him.
いや参ったよな。
参るも参らもなんね。3度あっちゃんは4度あるっちゅうこっちゃな。
お嬢さん、そりゃ笑えないや。
面白い話でもなんでもないや。面倒が増えただけっちゃね。
警察が今身元を調べてるらしい。どうも相当顔面をやられてるらしくて、身元の特定が難しそうなんだと。
顔がわからんでも。
え？心当たりがあるのかい？
Oryu glared at Kimiyoshi, then started chuckling.
バカが。綿流しの祭りにも顔を見せん。不信心者に決まっとろうがね。ちゃんとお社様を敬って祭りに来ちょるんは。そんな目には合わなんとよ。
Oryu kept on laughing. Kimiyoshi and Makino didn't know how to react to that. June 20th, 1982, 9:04 p.m.
しかし、こりゃ無残なもんっすね。
クマちゃん、死に方っていうのは本人が望んだものでない限り、どんなでも無残なもんです。お悔やみ申し上げちゃいますよ。そっちどう？ポッケの中身とか個人が特定できそうなものは？
The forensic investigators shook their heads.
サンダル履きで服装もラフ。近くにお住まいの方でしょうね。服装の特徴から周辺に聞き込みをすればすぐに割れそうっすね。
それしかないな。課長からこの山一くそさしてかかりそうだからって脅されてます。その辺注意してくださいよ。
了解っす。
Kumagai gathered some officers and gave them directions.
入江先生が到着しました。先生、あそこです。
A young doctor got out of his car and headed in the victim's direction.
どうも、遅れて申し訳ありません。抽選会の手伝いの最中だったもので。
先生、今日の祭りでだいぶ飲んでたでしょう。アルコール本当に抜けてます？後で風船でも膨らましてもらっちゃおうかな。
ご安心を。運転はスタッフに代わってもらってますので。
そりゃそつがない。
Always gotta make sure that we insert the don't drink and drive reference.
おい、先生通してあげて。
Murder's okay, drinking and driving not okay. There was an area cordoned off with blue plastic sheets. An officer rolled up the sheet and let Oishi and Irie pass. The forensics people were taking photos from many different angles. The blood splatters and the bloody sandals were left untouched, marked with chalk and indicated with small alphabetized plates.
こういうものは見慣れませんね。
Irie took out a handkerchief and covered his nose.
匂いがダメな時は口呼吸にするんですよ。まあこういう匂いは目でも嗅げちゃうかな。ね。
The body appeared to be that of a middle-aged woman. It was soaked in blood. It looked like a middle-aged woman because of the hair and what she was wearing. The reason why no one could be certain it was a middle-aged woman was because its face was completely pulverized.
ひどい。
十中八九怨恨の線でしょうな。血痕とサンダル裏から見てここで殺したのは間違いないでしょう。でも見ての通りここは人通りが少ないと言ったって往来のど真ん中です。ここで頭部がひしゃげるまで殴り続けたってのはちょいとまともな話じゃないですからね。でね、ほら腕とか見てみてください。
Oishi put on latex gloves and lifted the corpse's arm.
腕は綺麗なもんでしょう。
それはつまり腕で防いだとか抵抗したとかそういう痕跡がないという意味ですね。
さすが高学歴。仏さんはおそらく最初の一撃で脳震盪かなんかで気絶したんじゃないかと思うんです。で、推しは確実に殺した手応えを得るためにさらに打撃を加えた。さらに言えば仏さんはその時うつ伏せに倒れたように思うんですよね。ねえ、服の汚れ具合からの勘ですが、
遺体は仰向けですね。
星は後頭部を散々潰して明らかに頭蓋骨が砕けてる手応えを得ているにもかかわらずわざわざ顔面を潰してるんじゃないかと思うんですよ。
Erie looked like he was going to throw up, both because of the putrid smell and Oishi's reasoning.
遺体の顔面を殴るってのは私の経験じゃかなり怨恨の線が強いです。それもだいぶ濃厚な濃密なね。ってことはつまり星は仏のかなり近辺にいるのは間違いないかと。
私を呼んだのが救命活動ではない。
Yeah, definitely not that.
よくわかりました。
先生、この人が誰かわかり
Good
ま
and
すか
dead now.
ね。わかれば聞き込みの手間がだいぶ省けるんですがね。
Erie looked at the body once again. He looked away quickly and thought. Then, after a while, Erie left the investigation area without saying anything.
すみません。私にはわかりかねます。
本当に？
Oishi smirked and looked into Erie's eyes, as though Erie was hiding something.
別に隠してなんかいません。
先生もアルコールがまだ抜けきってないだけですよ。頭が冴えたら思い出すかもしれません。思い出したら教えてくださいね。
Oishi tapped Erie on the back. The doctor, saying he wanted some fresh air, left the scene. Kumagai returned.
おいさん、課長から無線です。1号車の無線っす。
入江の先生、ごまかしたな。いえ、こっちの話。仏の聞き込み急いでください。ほぼ間違いなくこの近くにお住まいです。
June 20th, 1982, 9:39 p.m.
おいさん、連れてきました。
どうも。こんな夜更けに申し訳ありませんね。明日も学校なのに本当に申し訳ないです。
いえ。
Hey kid, you ever seen a dead body before?
お父さんはどちらへ？
うちの寄付はあまり帰ってき
Yeah,
ませんので。
my dad's dead. Just wanted to make that clear.
おお。いつ頃から？最後に帰ってきたのはいつ？
さあ。
義母と喧嘩しているのを聞く限りは。最後に会ったのはあまり覚えてないんですけど、先々週ぐらいだったかもしれん。
お父さんの連絡先はわかります？
いえ。
キャバレーの人
Yeah,
と
my
同
dad's
居してる
dead.
って言いました
Just
よ
want to
ね。
remind you. My mom too, in case that's your next question.
なんてお店かわかります？
いえ、沖宮のどこかにあるとしか知りません。
お父さんの名前は？
北条哲平です。
Oishi signaled Kumagai with his chin, who nodded while taking notes.
お父さんとお母さんはあまり仲良くな
Well,
かった
they're
です
dead,
か？
so, I don't know about
程度
that.
の度合いはわかりませんが、よくはなかったと思います。
率直に聞いて申し訳ないですけど、お母さんに恨みを持っていた人間とか知っていたら教えてほしいんですがね。
よくわからないです。
そうですか。じゃあもしも思い出したらでいいので、その時は教えてくださいね。これ私の名刺です。ここに電話番号ありますので。
はい。
じゃあ後日またいろいろとお話を伺うこともあるかもしれません。もしもお父さんと連絡がつきましたら、沖宮警察署の大石まで至急ご連絡をとお伝えください。くまちゃん、北条さんを自宅まで送ってあげてください。
いえ、一人で帰れますから。
Stranger danger!
いえ、そんなこと言わずにぜひ送らせてくださいな。お母さんを襲った犯人がまだ近くにいる可能性があるんですよ。あなたもまた狙われない保証なんてないんですからね。
お気遣いありがとうございます。でも本当に結構ですね。
Satoshi tried to reject the offer, but Oishi and Kumagai insisted. In the end, Satoshi was forced to accept. He turned around to leave, when Oishi spoke to him as if he remembered something he'd forgotten to say.
北条さん。
はい。
大丈夫ですよ。心配しないでください。犯人はすぐに捕まりますよ。
手がかりとかあるんですか？
ありますよ。
どんなですか？
捜査上の秘密ですよ。ね。
Ordinary people might think that Oishi was trying to cheer the poor kid up with a joke.
いいえね。人を殺すってのはかなり感情の高ぶるもんなんですよ。そりゃ冷静に殺してみせるロボットみたいなのも稀にいますがね。
ロボット？
感情が高ぶると。
人は極限まで感情が高ぶるといろいろ体に反応が出ます。発汗とか脱毛とかね。殺人現場に犯人の毛髪が落ちているってことは割とあることなんですよ。まあここは屋外ですからね。現場が絨毯の上ってのとはだいぶ勝手が違いますが。
犯人の毛髪は拾えたんですか？
さあね。鑑識の連中が大列組んでさっきから行ったり来たりしていろいろ探してます。まだ結果待ちでね。何が出るやら今から楽しみですよ。
明日があるので今夜はもう帰ります。
そうなさってください。くまちゃん、送ってあげてください。
了解っす。
では北条さん、 また近いうちに。進展があったらお知らせしますよ。北条さんも何か思い出したりしたらぜひ教えてくださいね。憎き母の敵の逮捕に協力してまいりましょう。
All right, so let me stop recording for just a second so I can see where I got to before, because I'm pretty close, but I can't remember exactly where it was. So give me just a second.